All right. We are going to get started with our media availabilities here at Martinsville. We are joined by Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 12 Team Penske Ford. Ryan has top five finishes, including a pair of runner-ups here at Martinsville. Ryan, you have a pretty cool paint scheme this weekend. Why don't you just talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, a little bit different advanced scheme than we've had in the past, and something they've been wanting to do. Kind of more black car and kind of yellow logos, and reminds me a lot of the rusty like Miller Genuine draft car. So it was great to work with those guys on it. They do a great job, and also promoting the Advanced My Track Challenge that's coming back this year. So that's a really cool program those guys are doing to support local grassroots racing. So awesome to have them. Their first primary of the year. Couldn't think of a better spot for a company who loves short track racing and local roots than Martinsville. So should be good.
Awesome. We will open it up to questions for Ryan. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Start right here. Go ahead, Mark.
Mark Carroll, PRN. Ryan, I'm doing a story on Talladega here, and just wondering how you felt the new next-gen car drafted at Daytona, what you liked about it, and what kind of race you'll think you'll see at Talladega because of that.
Yeah, Daytona, first race of the season pretty much with that new car besides the Clash, and learned a lot during speed weeks at the Super Speedway, kind of how they draft, and we're not going to be able to practice at Talladega. You just kind of qualify and line up and race, and you hope you remember how they drive at Daytona. So we kind of see differences from Daytona to Talladega. Your car is going to handle better at Talladega, just wider, got a little bit more grip. So we'll be running, 3 wide more. I was honestly surprised at the lack of 3 wide racing at Daytona. Seemed like you couldn't really shoot the middle as good as you could in the past for whatever reason, whether that was, no one even really tried it. I think it's because you just hit a huge wall of air and you couldn't make that move happen as good and make progress. And another part of it might have been, guys not wanting to force the issue and kind of getting a wreck, and then late in the race there was just no opportunities to do it. So hard to tell, but I think everyone's kind of gotten a little bit more of a handle on this car of what you need, and look at Daytona, okay, how we could change up our stuff and kind of refine things. So I think you'll see more 3 wide racing and guys making a little bit more aggressive moves just because it's wider and got more grip. But I think that's pretty common at Talladega. But won't be able to practice all that stuff. You just kind of learn it under fire. But we got 2 years of that, so be able to hopefully everyone get back into the speedway swing of things pretty soon. So
go to Bob.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. Have you talked to anybody about about the test Friesen did at Bristol? And is there anything from there? They took windshields out. They tried all sorts of. They covered the windshield duct. Is there anything that you felt or have heard that you really want to happen next week?
Yeah, I just saw it looked pretty nice. It looked like he was pretty good speed around that place. And from what I know, I feel like the tire's better than what it was last year. Just the tread on it, number one, and it's going to be better because it's wider. The tire's wider, so it's going to make it a little bit more racy, which will be good. Hopefully adding banking up to the top will let it kind of widen out. Being a night race is going to help. As far as the windshields go, I know they tried like a screen. I know they took the windshield out, tried a screen, and kind of ran it behind I think they had a modified or a late model up there. They ran behind, and me personally, I think anybody in the garage will tell you they'd rather run a screen because they can, have the track a little bit nicer, just keep moisture in it. But I don't know if we're going to go that route this year, unfortunately, just from what I've been hearing. So we'll see. I think it's going to be, better than last year, a little bit more racy, just kind of things you learn and go back with. But unfortunately, I think they tried to test that, screen like too late. Testing it this week. It's week before the race. Kind of a little bit too late to test something like that. But you're limited because when's the track going to be ready? It's not ready months ahead of time where you can make these changes. So I would like to see a screen, but I don't think that's going to happen. So just go there. But I think the wider tire is going to help the racing. Hopefully let us move around, and we'll find out. If the weather's nicer to us, hopefully it's not a downpour like it was, and that kind of hurts the race and hurts the track. But I think the tire is a big thing that's going to help that track out a lot and make it a little bit better show.
Go to Hank.
Hank Kurz with AP. Ryan, there's been so much talk about the physicality of the racing and how the car kind of holds up better under it this year. With the close proximity here at Martinsville and a night race, does that maybe set this up as something that could really fire fans up again about just the racing and how it's different this year?
I think the fans are already fired up about any race at Martinsville, and I think this car is pretty resilient compared to the last one. Body wise, I think it's way more resilient. Top of the hour, and I think the bumpers front and back are a lot stronger than what they were last year. I felt like if you got hit, like in the left rear quarter panel, or you kind of tried to move someone out of the way with the right front fender, you could damage pretty easy. Didn't have a lot of support in the noses before. Now they're solid, and so I feel like it's going to be a little bit more physical here tomorrow night, just because not only is it 100 laps shorter, the cars can take more, and I think you're going to see a little bit more, aggressive styles of racing. That's what Martinsville is all about, So and I think you get a car that can take it, you're going to see more of it. So I don't see anything kind of dumb happening or stupid, aggressive. But I think you're going to use the bumper a little bit more, and you might use it a little quicker than you would with the previous car, just because it's beefed up a little bit more.
Go to Kelly.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Ryan, I have two. First off, so last week's another week you led over 100 laps and didn't get the win. Is that becoming a statistic to where you look at it and say, well, we're leading laps, we're running well? Or at what point, again, does that statistic become really, really frustrating?
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's frustrating. I think you lead laps and win stages and don't end up winning the race. That's a bummer. I've always just tried to look at it like, hey, we were leading laps, we're running fast. I'd much rather this be going on, leading laps, running up front, not being able to kind of close out the win is from running 20th every week, So we're running 20th and getting lucky and running 13th, So I'd rather our cars be fast like they have been, and just trying to clean up things to where you can put yourself in better spots to try to win the race, or adjusting your car a little bit better throughout the race to try to be a little bit quicker at the end. So there's definitely worse problems to have. So I'm not frustrated by any means as far as leading laps and not winning. Just got to keep running up front. You just hope you keep that speed, and you work on the execution side and hope it comes with it, really.
400 laps this week instead of the 500 that we're used to here. Will that change anything? Will that even be noticeable to you guys?
Yeah. You'll understand the stages will be shorter, and things like that. Track's going to be really cold, so not really sure what rubber is going to get laid down, but you might not have like there's periods of this race like early on, the first third, or like lap 50 to 300 is pretty tame, I would say, in the most part. I don't think you'll have that as much this year, just because it's 100 laps shorter and you're going to have to make moves a little bit quicker. So I could see the aggression level being raised a little bit, and I don't mind it being 100 laps less, 100 laps longer. I don't care. I mean, you base your race around what laps are there, we're running. So I could see the aggression being a little bit higher. That's about it.
Go to Jermaine.
Ryan Blaney, first of all, we appreciate you, Jermaine Farrell, WFXR in Roanoke, Virginia. I got to ask you, I got two questions for you. Number one, we're in the middle of this short track swing. Just your thoughts about NASCAR kind of putting Richmond, Martinsville, and Bristol all together like that.
Yeah, I don't care if we went, Richmond, Talladega, road course. I don't care. I mean, it's just what the schedule is, and you adapt to each place, each week. And but I like it. It's kind of keeps you in the short track mindset, I guess. I think we're able to switch up mindsets pretty good from track to track, or different sizes. But yeah, it kind of keeps you in that mindset, and it's nice to kind of base things around like, Bristol's an oddball. You can't really like take away anything from other tracks with it being dirt, but you take some of the stuff you learned at Richmond last week, and maybe you can apply it here, just as far as setup stuff, just thoughts of everyone trying to learn the car. So it kind of keeps you in that mode a little bit more. But I think it's pretty cool, 3-week stretch. 3 short tracks, three very famous short tracks, and yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's something cool. So.
And obviously, this is a special year for Martinsville. 75 years of the existence of the track, and you've had your fair share of runs here. But from your perspective, what do you think is the key to having success here at Martinsville and having good runs?
Yeah, it's a tough place. You know, I struggled here the first couple years I came, and you know, really couldn't figure it out, and did a lot of homework. You know, Brad, you know, back in like 2017, 18, 19 was awesome here, and really started looking at his data. Like, okay, what do I got to do each part of the run to be like, you know, be like Brad, how he drives this place and finds himself up front. And worked really hard on that. And like the fall race in 2017, or I'd probably say the spring race in 2018, it just kind of clicked. It's like, okay, this is what I need to do, and I need my car to drive like this. I need to drive like this, and all of a sudden you're leading laps and contending for a win and all that stuff. So it's one of those weird things to where if it clicks for you all of a sudden, you're like, now I know what to do. And some tracks, it takes maybe a little bit longer than others. Like Richmond has kind of been like a slow, get a little bit better there each time we go back for me. Martinsville was like a one race, oh, okay, this is what I need to do. So it's kind of weird how that works. But I've kind of been a curb hugger here. I mean, just run right along the curb. That's kind of how I've found success. Is it going to translate over to this car? I don't know. I'll find out here in about an hour. But you know, we'll just have to see. But just got to keep your car turning good and rotating. That's one of the biggest things I learned, and kind of how you modulate the brakes getting into the corner. That's one of the big things. So all that kind of changes. It's still the same Martinsville, but a little bit different car, and you'll have to adjust for that. No problem.
Go to Danny.
Danny Harnden, Fox 8 and High Point. When you look at that clock over there, do you think you have a spot in your house right now? I mean, where it would work? And a lot of the guys talk about they have to turn off the chime because it gets to them after a while. I mean, do you have a spot for it?
I'll find a spot for it. I don't. You know, I think anyone will clear space out for that. So it's you know, something we've been really close to a couple times, and you know, I feel like all my friends have grandfather clocks, and you know, it's definitely something special. And you know, growing up in High Point, right down the road, you know, it's kind of a home track for me. I lived closer to here than I did Charlotte growing up, so this I kind of based it as a home race for me, and always wanted that grandfather clock ever since I was a little kid, watching Dad run here, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and been really close to getting one, and hopefully we can get one here this weekend, if not, you know, really soon. So definitely I'll find a spot for it. I don't really. That's not the biggest thing I'll think of. I'll put it right in my living room, in the center of my living room, if anything. So we just got to get it first, then you kind of figure that out.
Do we have any additional questions for Ryan? All right, Ryan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you
Good
all.
luck this weekend.
Yep, thanks.